Hey guys, it's Kristen. I guess I'm just going to do a real quick follow-up with this video. One of the things that we haven't discussed too much about is situational awareness and some of the physiological things that happen to your body when you get into a stress or threat recognition situation. There's three things that happen. This is how you can respond. You're either going to fight, flight, or freeze. A lot of people freeze. There's more people that freeze than you can even realize. But what happens whenever the stress level goes up is that it causes what's called auditory exclusion, which means you lose your hearing. You don't hear as well. Everything's muffled, which is why you have to give loud verbal commands whenever you're talking to somebody in a stressful situation. In law enforcement, we will tell them over and over again, stop resisting, show me your hands, drop your weapon, whatever it is that you need to tell them. One of my favorite ones is you're kind of writing your own report audibly, which is drop the weapon, don't make me shoot you. Well, in this video, I don't believe that there was any kind of audible commands coming from this girl. All I know is that she put the gun up and pulled the trigger, and as soon as she pulls the trigger, the dog goes. The second thing that happens is that you have what's called tunnel vision. I know you've all heard of that, but you have a tendency to focus in on whatever the threat is right in front of you. That's why if you're in law enforcement, whenever you're writing a report, a witness report, they can basically tell you what the description of the weapon was, but it's really hard for them to give a description of the person a lot of times. And they'll get it wrong because if they're staring down the barrel of a gun, they can pretty much tell you what the gun looks like, but not what the person looks like. Another thing that happens is that you lose your fine motor muscle skills. That's like when you're watching a horror movie and you see somebody try to get the car keys out and they're fumbling with the car keys because they just can't get their fingers to function. That is a natural occurrence whenever you're in a high stress situation. It's because all the blood and everything rushes in towards your heart and towards the organs that need to be saved. So you have a tendency to lose your fingers, you have a tendency to lose you know, anything that you want to do with fine motor skills, which is one of the reasons why, if you're going to carry a firearm, it's really important that you actually practice a lot. Like even on a concealed carry type thing, you need to have your gun holstered or in your purse or whatever it is, and practice with it empty. Although we don't practice with loaded firearms unless you're at the range. But practice getting, in a high stress situation, practice getting the weapon out and coming on target. Now, if you notice here, this is not a high stress situation at all. There's no stress here. She already has her gun in her hand. The dog is already keyed in, tails up. And he's got his mouth open, so this is a game. This is something they've done before. Another thing that happens with your body, a physiological thing, is that when one knee gets taken out or when one leg gets taken out, it's called a sympathetic reaction. The other leg will go with it. So in one of the previous videos, you saw where the girl had the dog and the dog was behind her and he was bumping into her and it was buckling her knees forward. There is no way, if that dog bumps into you and you have a weapon in your hand, that you're going to get a good shot off. So first of all, this shouldn't be occurring, because if you're going to draw your weapon and you're trying to protect your own life, legally, if you have that weapon out, it should be firing on target, on trigger, period. It has to be an immediate threat for you to have that gun out. So we're going to watch this, and I want you to pay attention to what happens. There's no stress in her body, There's really no stress in his body. He's paying attention. So you're not going to have the same kind of realistic situation because there's no stress there. You're not going to have the auditory exclusion. You're not going to have the tunnel vision. You're not going to have the fine motor skills that are going to disappear or dissipate. And it happens to dogs as well, which is one of the reasons why when you're giving a command for your dog to release or, whatever, if they're already starting to get up into that red zone, you need to bring them back out of it and get them under control. You notice how she bowls? Now, here's the other thing. What is this guy doing? What is he doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Have you ever watched Dennis Rodman whenever he played basketball and he accidentally got, he got bumped a little bit and he just over exaggerated everything? He would fall down to the ground and rock back and forth like he'd been, like somebody had stabbed him or something. This decoy is doing the same exact thing. And all that's teaching the dog is, oh, if I just go with him, he'll fall down anyway. This is accomplishing absolutely nothing. And I mean nothing in the training, except letting the dog think that he's winning a fight. He's equipment fixated because he's fixated on this guy over here. She's bowling. I don't know if you swing that gun up, you should be punching that gun straight out from your body. And believe me, I'm a firearms instructor and defensive tactics instructor, and I teach this all the time. Don't roll that gun up, and don't fish. Like when you take it out of your holster, don't go like this. Whee! Whee! Yeah. That gun needs to be right next to her body, and it needs to come straight out. And if she doesn't have control of this dog, she has no reason to not have both hands on that weapon and be squared up with this guy. Why she's standing like that is beyond me. You need to square up, and you're going to see in the next video what Instructor Andrew is talking about with the kids squaring up with the van. I'll go through that with the next one. But we're going to watch this again, and it's just pitiful. Where does she go? After she supposedly shoots this dude that's coming at her, right? This threat that's coming at her, where does she disappear to? Come on. Sorry, guys. We'll do it again. Watch where she goes. So the dog's, he's hitting the inside of the weak arm. We've talked about this over and over again. He could wrap that dog up at any point in time and choke him out or shoot him or whatever, because they're not trying to grab a hold of the strong arm. Now where is she? Hang on. Where is she? What's she doing? She's over here on the side laughing. She's not paying any attention to her dog. Where's his hands? All he has to do is wrap that dog up. And he could stab the dog, he could shoot the dog, he could do whatever he wants to. But do major damage. My whole point is, if you're going to train the way you play. You practice the way you play. This is bunk. And whoever's teaching this needs to get their head slapped around a little bit, because this is worthless. It's absolutely worthless. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please get with me in the comments. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know, whenever we put out new videos, because it's kind of sporadic at times. You know how real life is. You got to be able to do this when there's no background noise. But stay safe out there and leave these people alone. I don't know what this woman is doing or what they're teaching. I have no clue.